And we are live. Donny, round one.
Hey,
Welcome
you
to...
tired, bro? You tired after a
And
long weekend? Are
we
you
are
energized for
live.
these two very
Donny,
exciting games that
round one.
definitely won't be dead rubbers?
Welcome.
Are you tired,
I've-
bro?
Do you know what?
Tired
I've got
after a
this
long weekend? Are you
fucking...
energized for
live.
these two very
Donny,
exciting games that
round one.
definitely
Happened
won't
again.
be dead rubbers?
Welcome. Yeah, we're back live again, Donny. Mate, it's happened again. See, I want to have the stream up so that I can see the chat, and I always forget to
tough.
mute it. And
Because it's tough finding time for this because me and you are actually mechanical engineers for Tesla, so it's tough to find time to get the stream right as well. So
we cannot do anything. Hey, if anyone is out there that wants to jump in and help out, we're more than welcome to take a few people on. We can't do it all ourselves. But yeah,
how
this
you
is
doing,
live.
man?
This is off the back fence. I'm doing great. It is round one. Footy's back. I was pumped Thursday night. Getting ready to sit down for the whole first round of the footy, settling in. But I tell you what, it has been a roller coaster ride of emotions this weekend.
It's the great enigma this weekend. That's what it's been. I'm trying to figure out what is going. Do I actually know anything about footy? Is my question. I don't know. I might not.
I was so confident. Like there was so many people out there saying Manly this, Manly that, and I'm like, no way. Like
I was one of them, bro.
You got the coming up against the defending premiers on Thursday night at home. I know they're missing Cleary, but the Manly were missing Josh Schuster and Josh Alloway, or Oshay as Volandis calls him. But I was like, there was no way they're going to lose that game. I was so confident. And when they did, I was like, oh, this is just, I'm set up for a huge weekend here. And then I think I lost the next two. I picked Sharkies and the Rabbitohs. And then,
like anyone that knows anything about footy did, yep.
And then the Roosters, I was like,
obviously
lock them in to cover, and they get pumped by, I think it was like 14 in the end.
I didn't want to put them into a multi because they were paying so little. Like that's how sure of everybody was that the Roosters were just going to towel them up. Remember SCG last year round one, what they done to Manly?
Yeah.
And the Knights aren't quite Manly. So I was just expecting, as I was running out, I'm like, I've seen this one before. As I saw Teddy run out, I'm like, oh, here we go. Strap in. It's going to be on here. And then just nothing happened the whole game. The Roosters just struggled to get out of first gear the whole game. After they all, to be fair, they had that try disallowed, which was...
And I had Tedesco. I picked... So I set out a challenge, a trifecta challenge. So Super Saturday, 3 games, try and pick a try score in each game. I had Teddy as my first pick, and I was so dirty. I was throwing shit around when that try got disallowed.
I was coming up against him in Supercoach, so I wasn't too worried. I was like, it kind of is an obstruction, really, isn't it? So,
I'll quickly run through with everyone. So if you're living under a rock and you don't know the scores, I'll run through what they were. So Thursday night, Panthers beat Manly 28-6. Pardon me. Friday night, 6 o'clock, Raiders beat the Sharks 24-19 with a try with the last few minutes to go by Hudson Young to get that win. Broncos upset the Rabbitohs. Now, just to point this out, Rabbitohs were like 12.5 point favourites.
Yeah.
They beat them. Broncos beat the Rabbitohs 11-4. A very weird score. I think crazy footy stats put it up. It's only the second time in the history of the game that score has been at the end of a game. Knights upset the Roosters 20-6, and just a crazy result there. Dragons on my birthday beat the Warriors.
Oh, happy birthday, Rose!
Thank you, champion. It was my birthday. Great one. See my boys get up over the Warriors, and the Storm beat the Tigers 26-16 after a massive comeback. I was getting ready to absolutely blast them for losing that one, but they come back in the end to take it. But yeah, that is the rundown of the scores so far, mate. First off, I want to find out what your tipping and your super coach is looking like after those results so far.
Yeah, I've got the Dragons.
You jumped on the Manly hype train as well?
Yeah, listen, and I was saying to you before we jumped on, when Manly lost that game, I just sat there I had the boys over for round one, and I think all of us in the room had tipped Manly, and then after it, we all just kind of went, "Oh yeah, what are we talking about?" Like, of course, Penrith win this game. Like, even when I was watching it, like, as Tommy couldn't inject himself into the game because he wasn't playing like the Dogs, as I know that he can run circles around them, and I was like, "Oh, that's right." The last game Manly played was against the top 4 side, and they got this exact same result. Like, they just smothered Tommy out of the game.
Yeah.
And I don't know, maybe it's just the hype all off season because Tommy Turbo's been the number 1 pick on draft boards for Supercoach all off season. But I just bought right into it. I know Ches could come back and do something, and Ruben Garrick this, Ruben Garrick that, and then Penrith were just like, hold on. We just won this and went to the grand final, the one before actually. So no, we're all right. We'll just they looked pretty convincing too, even without Nathan. That was a big thing because everyone's like, oh, Nathan. And they've lost 2, Kurt Capewell and Matty Burton. Like, that should hurt them more than what it did, I think.
Yeah. I think everyone was going, there were a few comments, and I posted up, and they were like, no one was saying this. And I'm like, go back and check the comment section of any Penrith post pre-game.
Yeah.
And they're a one-man team. They've lost Nathan Cleary. They won't win. They miss his kicking game and everything. But Sean O'Sullivan, and I said before, like, they knew Cleary wasn't going to play for a long time before it was announced on Tuesday.
Before all of us did, yeah.
So, they were set, they were primed, ready to go, and it shows what a class side they are and how tough they are going to beat because they can do that. They're going to be missing a few players during Origin. These big guys like Luai and Cleary and that and Yo. So, be interesting to see how they go during that time, but I see them, up there.
It makes me nervous for like these other teams that lost this weekend, like South and Roosters that have lost already, and the Sharkies. You just go, well, what's the gap? Maybe the gap has closed, like we were saying all off season. The gap's going to close.
Yeah.
For everyone but the Panthers.
Yeah.
And they might stay up there. Everyone else is coming back to earth. Everyone else has improved. And but the Panthers are still just bossing it. But obviously it's one game. It's only week 3 of the trials.
I was going to say, like, we don't want to overreact too much, and we'll probably touch on a few fans overreacting in a few
Overreaction
games.
Sundays is what it should be called, I reckon.
Exactly. But what about Supercoach, mate? I know there's been a couple of big scores by some sort of not unknown players, but like maybe underappreciated players.
Yeah, well, Gags, his name was Mud all off-season. He technically moved into that right centre spot for Newcastle is statistically the worst position to be in Supercoach as far as scores go. It's either the worst or the second worst, especially with the run that they had. That position there is one of the worst spots. He turned up, and you had obviously Rava, he turned up as well. Guys like Teddy, I think he went sub 40. Turbo was sub 50 points on Supercoach, but they've bumped him up. Listen, all I'll say is if Turbo somehow managed 62 points in that Penrith game and you're in a draft competition and you don't have him, fold it in. Because if that is a 60-point game from Turbo, I don't know how many people play Supercoach, but he just wasn't involved in that game. So if you have him and he's still able to do that in a game where they get danced around like that, it's over. But Supercoach is shambles, mate. Supercoach is an absolute shambles. Yeah, I think I was watching the Knights Roosters game and I pulled up my phone with 15 minutes to go, and Sammy Walker and Luke Keary had combined for 15 points. so it was tough going for a lot of. I mean, it threw everything up in the air, and it happens every year. We all base everything off last year's stats and try and put as much spin on it as we can. But once the first whistle blows, it's a new season, baby. Like anything's possible.
Yeah.
I don't think this was in anybody's mind. Like I started copping it from a Tigers fan because I said, "How are you going to play Dane Laurie against Melbourne?" And he scored okay. And I was like, "Yeah, mate." I also guessed that Teddy, Turbo, and Pappy were going to turn up as well. So it's not quite all just me being wrong about Dane Laurie. The world's upside down right now. I mean, how'd you go on your tips?
Tipping. So I'm a Dragons fan, so I took them. With not too much confidence, but I like them. Love the Panthers. I thought even when Cleary was announced out and they went from hot favourites to underdogs, I still love them. And of course, I thought the Storm would absolutely annihilate the Tigers, which they got the win, but it wasn't the case. So I'm currently 3 from 6, so not too bad. Punting wise, I was way off, but that's another story. But yeah, just tipping outright winners, 3 from 6, so not too bad, but there were plenty of people that were 1 from 5, 1 from 6, 2
Yeah.
from 6. So
Yeah, like I say, all I nabbed was the Dragons.
I
So.
would love to find someone that is 5 from 6, 6 from 6. If you are out there, get in touch because, mate,
I reckon the only bloke's
to talk to you.
Abdo, and he's got him to change the scores for him because I don't know how anyone. I want to get inside your mind and what.
Yeah,
you
exactly.
knew.
I want to see if after this round who is up there. So if you've tipped well so far, get in contact. Send us a screenshot of your tips and let us know how you go.
I'm just thinking out loud here. The only one that it could be is in some leagues you always tip the home side.
Yep.
And they're a Dragons fan, so maybe they've missed the first few tips.
Yep.
Home side. Dragons fan. Oh, I got to do my tips. That's the only person.
Well, don't you? If you forget to put your tips in, don't you get the away side though?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, well,
but a lot of teams, if you're not sure of the thing, you might go, "Oh, I'll just take the home side. Just take the home side."
That's what it's got to be, right?
And if you've missed you would have missed Saturday's games, so they're all won by away teams. So
yeah, true. Well, then what do I know? Yeah, geez.
So either way, if you forgot to put your tips in, you're 3 from 6. So you're probably better off just not put your tips in. Crazy. But the first game was Thursday night, Panthers Manly. Mate, like I said, Manly fans thought they were going to win that easy, and that was way off. Crazy game. Two Manly fans are actually caught fighting security after the game. That's how riled up they were about it. They infighting already after round 1. Crazy times for Manly fans.
I love that.
But look, I thought they were in at half time. Turbo pulled one out as he was falling down, handed off to who was it? Bullimore.
Ethan Bullymore. That made super coaches happy. He's
I saw a bit of chat around him, a little cheapy. But and I thought, you know what, like when a team scores right before half time, they go in with that confidence, and I was like, this could be a bit of a game here. And then Panthers just turned it on in the second half.
I just think, there was a lot of us that just thought something about Manly. I mean, Manly impressed a lot of people last season.
Yep.
And I thought they were going to carry that in. But like I say, the last game they played was against South, and they got smothered.
Yep.
And it was just, Realistically, looking back now, you just think, what was I thinking? Thinking that Manly were going to do something there. Listening to too much Hello Sport, maybe.
the boys like to pump up their team regardless of who they're facing. But I think look, overreaction here. But could you see them? We're talking overreaction. So when we say this, it's not like we want to talk about it, but we need to overreact to something. So overreacting to this thing, would you go? They're going to miss the 8.
Oh. See, how about this? Who misses the 8? Manly or South?
Oh. We'll get on to South in a sec. They did look terrible.
I think they'll sneak in. I think they're still better than the guys I've sneaked in.
Absolutely. I look at a lot of the bottom 8 teams from last year, and I still think both of them are better. Maybe we leave overreaction till a few weeks in because I think we could get slammed for this.
I think they make the 8, but just put Manly in for 8th.
Friday night, 6:00 game was the Raiders Sharks. Now I thought this
shocking time slot. This if you're up in Queensland, 5 p.m. kickoff.
It would be, tough. So you're still at work for half an hour if you.
Well, no. So I knocked at 4. I got a cab from work to the Caxton and got in at 4:55. Yep. Sat down with a beer just in time for kickoff.
Perfect for you then.
So, we planned it perfectly. But if you knock off at 5 and you're a Raiders fan or a Sharkies fan, good luck to you.
You might get
at least for the next few weeks.
Yeah. I don't mind it because I'm at home.
Exactly.
Go get the kids dinner at 5:30. They get takeaways. Yep. So it suits me. But the people leaving work, it would be tough. But I think the Sharks and the Raiders normally get a lot of these games too. These 6 o'clock games that are Friday, it seems. So it's like a perfect 6 o'clock game for them.
It is.
But I'll tell you, like one of the things I absolutely loved from this game was coaches coaching from the sideline. Ricky's renowned for it.
Brother,
I don't know if it's just like it's like an old school thing. You see it all the time out in country rugby league. It just feels like these guys should be up in a box with a microphone with a radio, calling down the players and all that sort of stuff. But I absolutely love coaches. It split
my table because it came up in conversation when I was watching Ricky. I was like, Do you boys reckon if you were coaching, you'd be down on the sidelines or up in the box, and it split the group? There was 6 of us, 3 for 3.
Yep.
I reckon I'm down on the sideline because
Same.
then it's your words to them, right?
Yep.
You'd make a sub and you let them know if it's for management or because they're playing like shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And
And you're going to play better with Ricky looking over your shoulder, right?
and just a little stat here as well. Friday night, both winning coaches coached from the sideline. So there you go. Maybe take note for all the other coaches out there. Head down the sideline, get a plastic chair, one that preferably Ricky hasn't broken already or kicked away.
I'd love to see the stats because the other bloke that coached from the sideline, that was his predecessor's last-ditch tactic, and it didn't do him any favors.
True. But there was a huge scandal out of this game too. I must say, this is bigger than the Sharkies peptide scandal. This is bigger than their salary cap. It's actually bigger than ScoMo, apparently, reportedly shitting himself at the Engadine Maccas after the 97
Much
grand
bigger.
final.
Bigger.
When did Nico Hines become Nicholas Hines? Is this a New South Wales Victorian? I went back and checked like all the interviews that he had last year. It was all Nico, and now a couple of interviews on Fox this year. He's moved to the Shire. It's now Nicholas.
Yeah,
is this a
too big for Nico?
Is this a New South Wales Victorian thing? Is it something that we're missing that only Victorians know about?
I think the big thing for me is, Rosie, I was at the pub, so I didn't have the sound on. When they crossed to him, what did they refer to him as?
Nico. But on the screen, it's Nicholas.
We need to fire a couple interns, I think. I mean, maybe Nico's on our side. Maybe he's in the dark as well.
If you're working on a production of a football game and you're not typing in, if your instinct is to go, it's Nick, you see Nico and you go, it's got to be Nicholas, and you're changing it, you need to be sacked immediately.
If there's a man to get to the bottom of this, it's probably you, because I think I speak for most of the rugby league community when we say we're pretty outraged, pretty upset. If someone could step up, try and figure out what the hell's going on. I mean, I drafted him as Nico Hines in my draft league. I don't know who Nicholas is, who this imposter is. I'll probably be riding on that if he has a few bad games.
I just want to go through it. So Brendan Cow, mad #1 Sharkies fan, actor from Game of Thrones. He said it's because the Sharks are all class.
I don't think it's that one.
Harry Grant jumped in. He goes, he actually loves being called Nicholas too. So, and Cooper Johns as well. He was like, he just loves to be referred to as Nicholas. So, obviously taking the piss there, but it's something we have to get to have a bit of an investigative thing on. And
I'd probably take it as face value. I'd probably be calling him Nicholas if that's what he prefers.
Yeah, look, if that's what he prefers, but we need to know. We need to find out. So maybe we go to him directly and work it out. We'll get back to you on that one next week. We'll let you know how we go. The big one, Broncos Rabbitohs. Yeah, you're at this game. You went to this game on Friday night after a few early beers, watching the early game at the Cax.
Yes. It was good to be back too.
Tell us what it was like. At the game, first game in a while.
I mean, it's a strange one because there has been a bit of talk off the off season how like COVID's gone and we're back in stadiums and everything like that. And we have had footy up here, to be fair, and we've gone to a lot of games, but there's just something different about a round one. Footy's back. There was traveling fans for the first time in a long time. I spoke to a few people that had come up, and it just got me like excited. I got separated from the boys as I walked out of the Caxton car park, as I let them pay for the bill, and I walked through just amongst a bunch of Broncos fans and Souths fans, all mingling up, walking down Caxton Street down to the front entrance there. There was kids going to their first game. There was people playing guitar on the side of the road. I felt like I was in like a good NRL ad.
Yep.
So it was just good. The vibes were definitely there. And then when the Broncos started winning, I think I was texting you. I was just surrounded by shocked faces. Nobody could believe what was happening. And I was sitting there pissing myself because you know that I'll barrack South because of the old man, but when Souths are playing like shit, I'll be the first to notice it because I watched them do it for so long. And so there's a lot of confused people in 2021 Souths jerseys asking themselves what the hell's going on. It was quite the scene. It was quite the scene up from where I was up in the nosebleeds, and that's where you get kind of more of the rambly bunch. And there were some Broncos fans giving it to some Souths fans. Souths fans losing their minds as well. Like I say, I think there was a few new fans that didn't really know what was going on.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, no, I couldn't believe it. Like, I know South played terrible, but you got to give some credit to that Broncos side for, doing what they did. The performances of like guys like Capewell, Cobbo,
Oh
Haas,
man,
and
Cobbo impressed the crap out
Carrigan.
of me.
Yeah,
People will look at his stats at the end of the day and go, "Oh, he didn't have a very good game." But if you were watching him, he was if that forward pass goes, that's a try assist.
yep.
And if he gets that ball down, that's a try. Now all of a sudden, he's Latrell Mitchell 1.1.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
everyone focuses
So
on the errors and stuff like that, but you go, okay, take a couple of them out of the game and then look at the full performance. And it was...
I did have a South fan say if Reynolds was playing, the Bronx wouldn't have won because Albert Kelly got that intercept and Rennie doesn't do that.
True,
So we're
yeah.
clutching at straws there.
True. But
But I will say, it had me thinking with these Souths, I think that they're starting to hit some of these scary, what do they call it in Harry Potter? The Horcruxes. There's a few weird things happened in the Souths. You had, obviously, the destruction of the Charity Shield streak, a back rower kicking a field goal. They lost a club legend to the club that removed them from the league, losing a grand final in that same stadium of that same club, and beginning and ending a season with an interception.
Wow.
So I think that's 5 pretty spooky things. And I've heard tale. I spoke to Kevy allegedly after the game. He's telling me they're going 7 from 7. And if they get those 7 Horcruxes, they're back out of the league, South. So I'd be thinking they're on their best behavior coming in. Like, I'd be a bit nervous because there's some spooky. And I'll tell you what, I think Souths are playing with magic they don't totally understand. I think Rusty has to have a couple words with them because they're on the fine line, I think.
One of the big questions is, with the way the Broncos played on Friday night, what position does Adam Reynolds play in Q Cup next week? Is it?
I think coming off the bench, he's a bit of a utility. Off the bench, he's a bit of a utility.
Yeah.
For winning Manly.
I know. It'd be interesting to see.
There was a few headlines where I was like, "Oh, Kevy's got a bit of a headache now," and I'm like, "Does he have a headache?"
No, he doesn't. Adam Reynolds walks straight back into this. The headache, I suppose, is like, again, he still has that headache of who partners him.
They both played well. They both played well in different ways too. But I think, I do think Albert had a good game.
Yep.
But he did. It was, it was a moment of brilliance. It was a moment of brilliance, and I think Billy had the better game just quietly. But I mean, Albert did get that. Yeah, but it was. I think I rewatched the game this morning, and I think Fatty started going on about how it was another Cody Walker interception a game later in the same spot. It's like, oh, yeah, Fatty, let him rest. Yeah. Let him rest.
That's so many people. There was like, I sort of follow along on Twitter with what people are saying. It was like, if you searched Walker intercepts, the amount of people that made the same joke about him. He loves intercepts at Suncorp and all that. So
he'll ride that forever. If Benny Hunt rode his forever, Cody will be riding his forever now too.
Now moving on to Super Saturday or Stranger Things Saturday. Continuing along this theme for this weekend. Now, Roosters Knights. Now, I have to point something out here. I posted about the Knights saying they were the best back by punters to win the Spoon. Now, that wasn't my opinion, right? That was...
that was definitely your opinion. You probably came up with those stats all on your own.
That's a simple fact, right? Like, we got the information that this is what punters have done. Do I agree with the punters? No. Everyone came at me thinking that was, me saying that they would win the Spoon. And people are still sending me messages, blah, blah, blah. You think the Knights are going to win the Spoon, eat shit, blah, blah, blah. But I was just pointing out a fact. So, I don't agree with it. Now, in saying that, how many Knights fans are getting grand final tickets this morning?
Mate, that'd be you'd be a fool not to, because they'll sell out, because there's I think the Knights members are at least 20,000 deep now, so they will sell out. If you remember, you'll have to get your tickets quick. But you will be in a race with the Dragons and Broncos fans. So yes. I don't know how they do that with the three teams getting membership tickets, but I'm sure Abdul works something out for you. He'll be more than happy to take your money. If you want, I'm actually running Knights at $2.20 to win the whole thing. So just shoot me some cash. I'll hold it for you till the end of the season.
Take him up on the offer. Mate, the Knights forward pack was insane. They had a look at their stats. They only missed 3 tackles from their starting pack. They made 193. and zero line breaks by the whole team. So just a phenomenal effort by the Knights yesterday.
Clemmer rediscovering that offload again. He went a bit quiet on it last year, and then it just happens. You just see the mountain of men, and then a little ball pops out as David Clemmer again. I think he got 3 or 4, because that's what made him so strong. Not last year, the year before, his offload, and then he got a bit quiet on it last year. But if he gets that back into his game, there's that extra element. I mean, maybe the Knights will be 15th, 14th instead of 16th.
I love Lockie Fitzgibbon as well. He came out of the tunnel limping. There's something up with him. Didn't he have
a game?
And didn't miss a tackle. So crazy.
Stayed on play
for the 80 minutes.
Yeah. I was fuming that Mitchie was on the bench. Makes sense though. When you got a pack like that, it makes sense that Mitch Barnett comes on and just kind of roughs things up when he needs to. Because Lachlan Fitzgibbon impressed the hell out of me. I mean, I always knew he could play. I think he had a problem with his neck last year. I think he was out for 8 weeks or so, but geez, he seems to have knocked that off pretty quick. There was that one line break he got, and I was like, who is that in a Lachlan Fitzgibbon mask? Like, what's going on there?
Yeah, they were very good and got the fans up and about. In talking about overreactions, I got sent a bunch of stuff from fans overreacting.
I bet that would have been some good gear.
But it was good to see, considering how many people talked them down, how many people had them picked to not do anything, and to go in and knock off a top 4 team is phenomenal. So great start by the Knights there. My boys, the Dragons, huge win on my birthday. Like I said, I could not be happier. Rava scoring a hat-trick. Sloan was on fire early too with a couple of tries.
Mate, isn't he going to be exciting some people? How many more weeks until they start talking about maybe a New South Wales jersey at 14? Gussie will be on that in the next few weeks.
Please don't. Unfortunately, his try-scoring streak of 6 games, 5 games, 6 tries, came to an end. He didn't score in this one, but he's still so strong. What did you make of the Warriors and Sean Johnson in particular? He's come back to the Warriors. What do you think about him?
I think his kick game was something that they surely missed.
Yep.
I mean, he looked so confident as well. He just looked very calm, like time kind of stood still when he had the ball. They just kind of seem like a bit of a mixed bag right now, right? Like their pack is strong as hell on paper.
Yep.
Tohu Harris to come back in, Josh Curran in that beautiful Indigenous headgear. He was running riot on you, not gonna lie. But they really are a bunch of pretty good players.
Yep.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like they're not really all pulling in the same direction just yet. Like that obviously takes time. You got Chanel Harris-Tavita at the 1 right now. That's got to be confusing things as well. How he stayed on the field in this post-Magic era with that swinging forearm actually blew me away. I'm sure you would have been up in arms about that because back in the day, I wouldn't have thought much of it. But I'm like, oh, he's gone now. And then it's like, no, he's not. He's fine. It's all right. And I thought he was gone for sure. But I think what's really confused them is you got a guy like Chanel on the field, you got Ash Taylor on the bench, and Cody is sitting there and it's just like, who's going to be the guy that's to step up?
Yep.
I think you put him in the same, I mean, I probably do put him in the same bag as the Broncos with SJB in there. I think he's akin to Adam Reynolds. It's like, yeah, you got some good people. Like you got Payne Haskell, they've got Tohu Harris and AFB and people like that. Yeah, I don't know. I really didn't know what to make of them. And after watching them for 80 minutes, I don't have any clearer answers. But I think the Dragons, I think more and more people are starting to tell me they're the smoky for the 8. We were on that very early. They're smoky for you to win the whole thing, which is good. But for me,
no, I'm not going there. I love their price to make the. I love their price to make the 8. I thought that was silly to have them installed as wooden spoon favourites, but
smoky at heart.
Yeah, look, am I saying they're going to win the comp? No. Have I bought grand final tickets just in case? Maybe. I have taken the first week off in October just in case. So, but no, they got me pumped up. I thought, when they dropped behind and then they jumped back in front, I'm like, oh, this is going to be another heartbreaker.
It was a good game.
It was
20
really
minutes to go, I was like, because I had to go to the in-laws for dinner and I was 20 minutes left and I was like, oh, no, we might have to stay for this. This looks like it's actually going to pop off here.
Yeah.
Had nothing to do with me not wanting to go there. The game was really good.
It was like exciting, and like I said, I was nervous that last sort of quarter of the game.
But your eyes stood out quite nicely.
I'd seen the Dragons do this so many times where they'll get in front, they'll look confident, and then they'll just make a couple of mistakes and sort of bumble it. But good
top
to see
8
for the
sides
first
win
round.
Those games. That's all I could say.
Yeah.
Like top 8 sides win
and
those
I love
games.
that. I love when they wear the all red. I feel
I was actually going
a
to
step
ask you
up
about
about
that.
10%. I reckon.
You like the all red?
I do
I
like the
just
all red.
think that that red V on the white's got to be one of the most iconic jerseys. I
100%.
like it so much, but I have seen them lose more games in that than the all red. What did you think about the red jersey without the stripes last year? It was just pretty much just all red like a t-shirt. What did you think of that?
Yeah, when it's closer to the old Illawarra Steelers jersey, I love it.
Yeah,
The closer you
yeah.
can get to that, I don't like this current one with the lines and stuff. I
It
like
looks
it.
kind of like a. I thought it was. I almost messaged you. Kind of looks like a Marvel round
Yeah,
jersey a little
yeah.
bit.
It
Looks
did.
like it's like a yeah. I was like,
If
that
you
looks a
go
bit
back to
funky.
like
It looks like an Iron Man kit or something like that.
if you go back to like the around the Premiership 2010, around that era, we had an all red jersey and you see like
Yeah.
Matt Cooper. He was. I just have a visual of him standing in that jersey, and that's what I think we need to get to.
Yep.
To really highlight that relationship with Illawarra.
Tarek Sims in one of those jerseys would probably do you all right too, just quietly.
Oh, mate, don't talk to me about Tarek Sims. He should be playing not on the bench, playing for whoever he's playing.
I did think that was pretty mad because you also had Tommy and Tarek were the starting front rowers for the Resi side, isn't that right?
Yeah. So
Wild.
now
Wow,
I think
that's not a bad Resi side to be propping up.
I think Aaron Woods might have done his Hemi too. So be interesting to see what happens there. But to one of the craziest games of the night, Tigers versus Storm. Now, who would believe? What odds would you give me if I said after 48 minutes Tigers would be leading this 16-4? You can write your own ticket, I reckon.
That's just bonkers, eh? Like I just Marlowe. That's what I reckon. Marlowe kept on getting up there, and the way he snatched it too.
Yep.
Dare I say they looked pretty good. I rewatched the game this morning. Wow. They were just a bit impressive, weren't they, the Tigers?
Yes.
More impressive than I want them to be because I know too many Tigers fans, so it just gasses them up.
Yep.
They got pretty cut down at the end there when like half of Melbourne played the game and won. But the Tigers fans, they should be taking something away from that. You might be pushing for 9th this year for sure, like for real though.
More confidently for 9th.
Yeah, that's a solid 9th. Like, I mean, what do you think of them?
They
have the ability to do that. They did it to South last year. They did it with Penrith last year, I think, too. And they can step up to the occasion.
Yep.
It's just finishing the game and doing it consistently is a whole different kettle of fish.
I think the inclusion of Jackson Hastings in there has just lifted that team to a lot better than what we've seen in previous years. Took a bit of Luke Brooks didn't have to do too much. Like he could just sort of focus on his own game, not sort of running the team like too much, putting it too much on his shoulders alone. So I love that. And you got to think they're going to get Adam Dewey back. Hopefully, I think they were talking like round 10, round 11. So where they
just quietly like Mamalo on one side, Nofaluma on the other.
Yep.
You could be a bit worse than that, right?
Yeah.
So, I think, and like two of the best finishers in the game are those two. Like Noffa just can, when he's 10 meters out and there's 3 people on him, you're still like, yeah, he probably gets that down though. So the Tigers are interesting. It's just, I think their biggest thing has always been mentality,
Absolutely,
right? Like they just have to make it work. It doesn't matter who's there. They just have to make it happen. So very impressive, but they've been very impressive in the past as well.
Exactly. So. Yeah. And you can't I think Hastings said after the game, they can't continue to be a 40-minute team, which they were. Like, they've got to start completing games, and when they do, then they'll be on the lookout on a few teams' radars. But coming up against the Storm, I think anyone that does that coming up against the Storm needs to be applauded, but at the same time, got to finish those games.
Because at the same time too, when you play the Storm, yes, they were losing players, but when you come up against the Storm, you're coming up against the system.
Yep.
So it does at the end of the day, the Storm can run out with nameless great faces. It's the system that they play.
Yep. And
so you still did hold your own against guys that are like born and just smash into their mind how to play footy by the guy upstairs on the puppets.
Yep.
So yeah, they've done well. They have done well as much as it pains me to say.
Look, and they lost Christian Welsh late in the game, so I wouldn't say that affected the whole game.
Yeah.
But losing Brandon Smith after 5-10 minutes, that killed them. That kills that rotation that they were probably going to move him back and bring in Tyron Wishart and he played outstanding for having to go on after 10 minutes and play the rest of the game.
Yep.
But yeah, look, watch out for the Storm. If they end up getting like 3 sims, like the rumor is,
that's deadly, bro.
That would be deadly.
Do you reckon Bellamy can put a cap on him? Do you reckon his suspension record gets sorted out? Well, that's what I wanted to talk to you about. All the boys are free now that these suspension rules are all changed and there's no loading or anything like that. Have you seen that?
Yeah, the change. And I haven't looked over it 100%, but it's basically sort of wipe the slate clean, isn't it? Like,
yeah, so all these boys that have been on good behaviour, throw that to the wind. TPJ's back, baby.
Look, you still don't want to go out and, you might go do something. What's it going to do? It's going to add a week. All it's done is now take a week off. So
Yep.
Oh, look, you've still got to be careful. You're still going to have a few of those hotheads that'll come out and.
I think it opens the board up for a bit of aggressiveness. Like if you got a young guy making a name, get something done.
Yeah.
And like if there's no loading, I reckon it just makes it a bit more. Yeah, maybe I'll give it a crack. Victor Radley, probably the happiest guy on earth. he was in a position where if he farted, he'd probably get 6 weeks. So,
mate.
So yeah.
We have got 2 more games to go. Let's lock in some tips before we wrap the show up, mate. We have got Titans taking on the Eels and Cowboys versus the Bulldogs. Who you got? I'm
going Para in a tighter one than people think, and I got to back the Cows in plus 10. Not by 10, plus 10.
Right, you're taking them with 10 start. Gotcha.
I think the Cows get it done.
I'm going against it. I'm going Eels. I think they get it done big time.
Yep.
I think they put a bit of a score on Titans, unfortunately. And I'm going Bulldogs. I think they get the win. The Cowboys Bulldogs, I said, feels like a game that either team could win 13 plus.
Yeah.
But I'm sticking with the Dogs. I think the strong squad, plus I've got to keep with my pick of the Cowboys for the spoon. Sorry, mate. So
mentally noted that one because I have recently, after the Knights game, changed my tip for the spoon to the Dragons. So not a big deal. Just had to quickly change that one.
Too easy. I appreciate it, mate. What do you got on for the rest of the week? Let us know.
This week, this potty out tomorrow. So if you listen to us right now, don't worry about that. But just more news of the week stuff. I'm going to be smashing you out on TikTok all week. I think I'm going to be ramping up the upload schedule after I got called an NRL TikToker. I have to stay true to the name.
You do big call.
Yeah, big call.
You could become the NRL TikToker.
In a fancy world, maybe. But yeah, just keep on plotting away. Just mirroring Roasty and trying to steal his content like people think that I do so well. So other than that, more footy next weekend. I think this weekend is a weekend at home, but round 3, have you seen some of those games? It's we got Sharks, Dragons, Roosters, Rabbits, and Broncos, Cows. So I think this is round 2. Yeah, round 2, we settle into ourselves a little bit, try and get back into the groove, and then round 3, it pops off. I'll be at a few games, I think. Yourself?
Mate, yeah, I'll just be taking it easy this week, trying to recover from the horror first round of in regards to my punting. But no, just relaxing, getting set for round 2. I haven't even looked at the round 2 schedule, so that's how behind I am. But you're talking about round 3 already, and I'm not even looking at round 2. But no, I'll take it easy, mate. Just always take it as it goes. I don't plan too much. Just react to what happens. But mate, always a good chat with you.
Always, brother.
Thanks for taking the time out. To everyone listening, thanks very much, and we will talk again next week. See you then.
See you then, boys. See you then, brother.